on, everyone? So here's to a random weekday live stream. I haven't done this in a long time, so I figured, why not do this? Figured it could be fun. So I'm just gonna real quickly change the thumbnail. Second, if I even can do it. I don't know if I can. Let me see. Can I do that? I think I might be able to. Looks like the thumbnail I haven't been able to fix just yet. Bear with me. Let's see if I can get it. That's always the hard part. Camera. I apologize about that. All right, I'll just work on the thumbnail later. The View with Drew. Hey everyone, what's up? The View with Drew, how are you doing, man? It's good to see you in the chat. I know, what was it, the last live stream? I know you weren't able to make it, which totally get. I'm trying to make these more of a weekly thing now. So I know this upcoming weekend I probably won't be able to do a live stream. So I was like, oh, why not do it during the week? So I hope you're doing well, man. And, if you've been watching any new movies or TV shows, let me know. I'm sure you're excited for next month. Deadpool and Wolverine. It's right around the corner. Question: do you already have your tickets? That's the big question. Yeah, and anyone else that's joining the chat, just let me know, what's going on. I know I have a couple stories that I want to tell you guys. One of them involves physical media. Actually, a pretty funny story. Sorry, I just found a way I can quickly have. There we go. Okay. Now I actually have a screenshot. Perfect. All right. Let's see if it shows up. Sorry about that. One of my best friends just got on Instagram. So I had to immediately accept that. But yeah, it's usually around 10 minutes or so that people start coming into the chat. So it just takes a little bit. What I need to start doing is, for playback purposes, I need to have it where it's like, hey, get to this marker at this time. So then that way, for everyone that's going to be chiming in late, it's like they can like say, hey, this is where it's at. All right, let me on YouTube real quick. Make sure the thumbnail came up. Okay, yep, the thumbnail came up. You see the audio. Okay, yep, the thumbnail came up. Let's make sure. I'm still reeling from rewatching Moonlight. That movie is perfect in every way. I still can't believe I gave it a 4 or 5 the first time I watched it. That's what I love about films, man. It's like the more you rewatch something, the more you can appreciate something. Or it can have the reverse effect where it's like you rewatch something multiple times and it's like you like it less and less. I've had that happen before. Or you like the film during a certain time in your life and then you're scared to rewatch it. That's kind of like for me, Promising Young Woman. When Promising Young Woman came out in theaters, I think it was early, I want to say January of 2021. I was so happy to be back in a theater. I was like genuinely scared that we weren't going to, have that theater experience again. So like to get to see a good movie in theaters like that was good, even though I had my issues with it. Um, which is funny because the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, it's a good movie, but that ending really does make it fall apart. Which is funny because then that director's follow up film, Saltburn, I thought that was a film that it kind of lost its way in the second act, but then the third act, I thought that it did a pretty good job of coming around to make for a very interesting, impactful experience. But I'm wondering if that's been something that other people have experienced in the chat, where it's like you liked the film years ago and then you're scared to rewatch it. Let me know in the comment section. Especially if it's been like a long, long time. What was it recently? There was a film recently where I was kind of like, okay, am I going to like this more? Am I going to like this less? Let me check on Letterboxd. Oh, I remember. It was The Hours. Um, The Hours is a 2002 film. and I saw it. I think it was in 2017, and I remember really liking it quite a bit. But because it had been almost 7 years since I last saw it, I was like, okay, I need to rewatch this, especially because I'm curious if it's going to be, hitting the same way all these years later. And throughout the first act, I was like, yeah, it's still hitting the same way. In the second act, I was like, oh, it's kind of dipping a bit. Maybe it's going to, go from being a good film to just a solid film. And then the third act came around, and the third act actually emotionally hit me hard, which was really cool. So it turned out that it ended up being the same rating that I gave it, but I ended up liking it actually a little bit more than my first viewing because I picked up on some more things. It's just like Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie and Clyde was another one of those films where I hadn't seen in like 8 years. So I was like, okay, is this experimental approach to filmmaking still going to hit the same way? And thankfully it did. But that one I was like, okay. What's everyone else watching? I know I have a couple more Pride movies to watch. I have, in terms of first time watches, I have to watch Bad Education, which is a Pedro Almodovar film. Um, I'm a fan of his work, though I haven't seen all of his work, of course. And in terms of rewatches, I still need to rewatch, what's it called? The Handmaiden. The Handmaiden's a great film. I'm excited to rewatch that. And then I think I'm also going to rewatch Dog Day Afternoon and possibly Ed Wood if I have time this month. Because I've been wanting to rewatch both. Like Dog Day Afternoon, I haven't seen in over 6 years, so it's way overdue. And then what's it called? There's a third one I had. Oh, Boy Erased. Boy Erased. I'm possibly looking to rewatch. If not this month, maybe sometime this year. Or maybe I'll wait until next year for next Pride Month. Be right back. No one's in the chat right now, so I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Oh, we have someone in the chat. Yeah, my bad. I have a Apple Watch, and it lets you know when you're sitting and how you have to stand up. So I was just getting notified about that. Ryan Alcho says, "Hey, how you doing? What are you watching tonight?" I was saying earlier, I just finished rewatching Moonlight, and honestly, rewatching Moonlight, like I was just like, am I up for a live stream? Because it's just like emotionally hit me again, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll do a live stream because I want to you know do one for this week, and I know that this upcoming weekend I won't be able to, unfortunately. But I'm still not sure what I'll watch tomorrow, though. The funny story, though, that I was mentioning earlier is that what happened was I did a video of top 10 movies that I want to see on Blu-ray. I filmed it earlier this month. I think it was June 5th, so a little over 2 weeks ago. Filmed it, posted it for the end of July, and don't you know it? Two of those movies that were on that list I made came out on Criterion. Well, they were announced that they were going to be coming out in September from Criterion. Like they were announced 2 days ago. So I had to basically redo that list so that way it was, not completely obsolete. So I re-edited it, added two other movies instead, and that video will be coming out this weekend because I'm like, okay, I clearly this type of video I clearly can't post date the way I can with like director rankings. So I thought that was funny though because I was like, I said, what are the odds of these movies getting a Blu-ray release? Probably kind of slim, but I want them. And then instead of Blu-ray, they're coming out in 4K, which is even better. So I'm excited for that. Anyways, Ryan, I'll let you. Have you seen the new teaser trailer for Smile 2? I haven't. Does it look good? I know the first Smile I enjoyed to an extent. I thought that it was surprisingly entertaining. Like I remember when I heard the concept, I was like, is that going to be good? Not sure, but keeping an open mind for the second one. Maybe I'll actually see in theaters because the first one I didn't see in theaters. I actually waited until I got out the library Blu-ray, the Blu-ray at my local library, I should say. But to be fair, when Smile came out, there was like a lot of movies that came out in that vicinity of time. Yeah, I know in terms of horror films, I know Maxine's coming out pretty soon. I'm excited for that. I actually have a bet going on with my one friend. He said that Maxine will make 5 million domestically. I think I said 55 million domestically, like during its entire run. And I know that when you look at the other two entries, like that's a pretty it's a pretty big number to go from because I think X made like 9 million, 10 million, and then I think Pearl made like around the same amount. So it's like, where am I getting these high numbers from? Counter programming. That's where. I think that it's coming out around 4th of July weekend, which is a interesting time to drop a horror film. And I think that, when people are looking at choices in theaters, it's like, okay, do I want to watch Despicable Me 4? No, probably not. Do I want to watch The New Quiet Place? I've probably already seen it because it's been in theaters at that point 2 weeks. Um, although I will say, be on the lookout because if The New Quiet Place is actually good, then it might have legs just like the first, and I think the second one had legs too. In which case, that might actually eat into Maxine's domestic gross, which would be a shame because I have that bet going on. But yeah, suffice to say, I'm excited for that film. And I will say that Quiet Place prequel, I'm curious about that one, although I've seen the trailer for it way too many times. Oh, wow, it's officially North America. It's officially 12 a.m. the next day. That's awesome. See something on the video details. Yeah, another horror film on the topic of horror films. Another one I'm really excited for is Long Legs. That I think could be really good, and I like how I haven't seen the trailers, but from what I understand, they're not really showing anything. So I think that that's really cool. I need to watch Oz Perkins. I need to watch that director's other two films. I've seen Gretel and Hansel. I actually own that on Blu-ray, but his other two films I haven't seen, so I need to watch them. Let's see. Ryan Olachow, do you have a favorite horror movie villain? Yes, I do. My favorite horror villain, hands down, is Hannibal Lecter. That's both in Silence of the Lambs as well as Hannibal, the TV show. I know you said movie, but that leads also into the TV show because the TV show, I would say, he's probably my favorite villain in that as well. What's your favorite horror movie villain? I'm curious because I know everyone has like different ones that they like. But yeah, let me know. Let me know which one's your favorite. Because Hannibal Lecter's hands down mine. Another video that I recently filmed was top 10 streaming movies that I want to see on physical media. That one I have scheduled for July, and hopefully that video won't be obsolete right away as well. Although I know some people are going to be disappointed by this because I don't have like Glass Onion, a Knives Out story, or Killers of the Flower Moon because those movies, although they are on streaming, I don't consider them to be 100% streaming because they technically were in theaters for several weeks before going on streaming. For something like, say, I don't know, The Killer, that's like something that you know unless you have local indie theaters, you wouldn't have been able to see that like AMC or Regal theaters. Something like that would count. And then I also, let's see, I have two more in terms of the Academy Award series. I have two more videos that I have to film for the 80s, 1986 and 1989. Still have to film that. We'll probably be doing that next week. And I have a couple more movies to watch for the 1970s Academy Award Best Pictures. Um, Once I do that, I can then rank the 70s, but the 80s probably won't come out until 2025, and then the 70s will be 2026. I think I'm going to stop with the 70s because once you get into the 60s, there's so many films where it's like really hard to find. I mean, there were some 70s and 80s films that were hard to find for the Academy Award Best Picture nominees, which kind of blew my mind because I'm like, these are movies that you would think companies would want to preserve because they're best picture nominees, but it's like, no, I guess not. Like, I'm so happy that my local library has a lot of these movies. So not only was I able to save money, but it's like if my library, if it didn't have those movies, I mean, I don't know what I would have done, honestly. Streaming is like it's a crapshoot. Like it's like, oh, I want to watch this movie. It's on the streaming site, but then you're not in the mood that day, and you wait a couple weeks, and then it turns out, oh wait, we're actually taking off the streaming service. Just like stuff like that is just frustrating. But yeah, does anyone in the chat? Does anyone have any questions? I mean, I can continue ramble, but I also try to be interactive. You know, by asking questions about other people. So I genuinely do want to, you know, hear what you guys have to say about, what you're watching, what you're planning to watch, any recommendations, stuff like that. Where are night owls at? I'm surprised. I'm not seeing any night owls right now. Because I'll usually wake up in the middle of the night, I'll look at my phone, I'll have notification of my phone from YouTube comments at like this time to like 3 a.m. It's, of course, the different time zones and whatnot, but Quiet live stream today. Holy cow. What is happening, everybody? Uh, uh, what a quiet live stream today. What is happening? There's nobody in the live stream just gonna be doing this. Greetings. Oh, someone's in the chat. Let me 1 second. Let me boy the music. Oh shoot, how do I do it? There we go. Felt like a boomerang there. Andrew Lay says greetings. Andrew, good morning, good night. I'm trying to think. Depends on the time zone you're at. Hope you're doing well. Like I was saying, I was like, live stream, it's very slow today. Versus when I usually do this on like a Friday or Saturday night. It's like it takes 10, 15 minutes and all of a sudden it's like so much people involved. I guess not on a Wednesday night. Well, Thursday morning now. Andrew Lane says it's 4:15 p.m. on a Thursday here in New Zealand. Holy cow. Wow. So New Zealand is 16 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time. Wow. That's wild. That's awesome, though. Okay, so that makes sense as to why when I do live streams, it works out for you because it's one of those things where it's usually not even nighttime for you. It's like, you know, a little bit past afternoon. I didn't know that about New Zealand. That's good to know. I ever want to travel to New Zealand in the future. I always wanted to go there because of Lord of the Rings. Not so much the Hobbit, though. Anyway, we live in the future, y'all. Literally. It's pretty cool if you think about it. It's like, in some ways, you almost know more than us, which is funny because in America, a lot of people look at Eastern Standard Time as like, hey, you guys are the ones that need to let everyone else know. Like, for example, I always see on Reddit for the AMC screen on scenes, people on the Pacific and the Central side and Mountain Time, they always are like, all right, Eastern Standard Time, make sure to quickly let us know, what the movie is. I never do, but I just always find it funny because it's like, oh yeah, we're a couple hours ahead. How do you like living in New Zealand? I'm curious. I'm curious if it is as nice as it looks. Excuse me. Andrew Lay, it's a great country, friendly people, and no, not everyone is that into the Lord of the Rings. It makes sense. I feel like, especially because I know Lord of the Rings is what, in terms of North America, that's what a lot of people look at as saying, oh, yeah, like New Zealand, Lord of the Rings. Can't really say the Hobbit films because it was mostly green screen. But it makes sense. Fluffy fight. Oh. Oh. Oh, man. Oh, man. I feel like that needs to be the thumbnail for the live stream. All I will say is Fluffy Bunny 242 is you're lucky that the stream has been very slow today. Not as busy as the weekend. Andrew Lay, what's happening? It just uh my best friend and I, just little joke between us. Pride Month. Fluffy Bunny 242, Mark Fry got that. Easter. Oh, that's what that was. Oh, yeah. Knowing Mark, he probably would get hacked. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be surprised. I got catfished. That stinks, man. Oh, but like this comment, it's a good time of year. Pride Month. This is good. Now I didn't almost get catfish, but you know how frugal I am. There was over the weekend I was on Facebook and I saw an advertisement for some physical media company that was going out of business. And I looked them up and it turns out that they are legit. And because they're going out of business, they had all these Blu-rays and 4Ks that are normally like 30-40 bucks for like $3 to $5. So of course I put a bunch of movies in the cart. But before I actually purchased it, I decided to look up the actual address of the website. And it turns out this website was created 3 days ago. And I then looked up on Facebook, and the Facebook page was created 3 days ago. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm glad I did not get completely caught. Like, I didn't put in any credit card information, but believe me, I get it, man. Fluffy Bunny 242, literally just June. That's when it's. And then your grandma's going to say, why is it they get a whole month? Hey, I celebrated earlier today. Well, technically late yesterday by rewatching Moonlight, one of my favorite films. That stinks that you got catfished, man. That happened. That actually did legit almost happen to me. 2015. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. But I gotta say, I didn't send any pics. But I know, especially um, within the last 10 years, I know that that's something that's it's pretty popular. I was gonna say Andrew Lay's was probably so confused, probably like, what? It's like, what was happening? I get it, dude. Dude, did you see my channel actually got monetized? I did you. It's gonna be funny at Christmas. Oh, dude, for sure. They're just they're just gonna come out with a microscope. All right, we've seen. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This is the start of my arc, dude. You know, let's go. Now you got to talk to Ryan about this because he did actually get like 100% catfish, and it was pretty funny. Like when he told me the story, I was like, oh my goodness. And GG, congrats. Yeah, man, dude. So now officially I have super chats, and then I can also have a Patreon. I'm 250 hours away from what's it called? Ads and like other stuff like that, which I'm excited about. Because I had one video that kind of blew up, which was focusing on physical media, and my algorithm, it went like through the roof. Like most people that watch my videos are like between the ages of like 18 to I think it's like 26. But now I have like the 40 and up crowd watching because of the physical media videos, and I'm like, yes. And so now I'm also like, okay, so there is an audience out there for physical media, which is awesome because you know me, I have a huge physical media collection. So I'm like, this is working out even more. Oh man. I almost want to text Marv and be like, yo, Marv, did you get the goods? Yeah, if you were to text Marv like right now, he would be up. I was literally texting him at like 4 a.m. yesterday because he started watching Rosemary's Baby. And he's like, dude, it's just like Hereditary. And I was like, technically, Hereditary was more like Rosemary's Baby, but because he saw Hereditary first, that's why. Let me see what I got in terms of this. Dude, StreamYard is pretty dope. I actually really like it. You can change the colors, change the font, even add music. And the music choices are hilarious. Feeding the ducks. Like, listen to this. Where you can do Into Space. I wonder if these are copyright. I don't know. Or acoustic cinematic. I'm gonna have these in my movies. Oh man, I was not expecting that from this. That was hilarious. Oh man, see the brand. Then you can even change the banners. BRP, I'm typing up the family GC message now. I need help. You know, I should send them for Bachelor Week the Venmo that you sent me. I'll never forget that. Oh, and you made that public too, which was even more hilarious. So my wife probably saw it, and she's probably like, "Oh, what are they doing? What are they doing this weekend?" Oh, John never changed, man. Bro for life. Oh my god. I gotta put something in the Bachelor Week chat, don't I? Oh god, Nicholas sees it. I'm actually sorry. Hey, you never know, man. She might she might be like, all right, gotta take off the ring, marry the best man instead. It'd be like one of those terrible comedies. But LOL. Andrew Lake, which US states are you guys in? So I'm in PA, Pennsylvania, home state of M. Night Shyamalan, and the state that can't stop saying John for some reason. I still don't understand that. And use guises, which also I don't understand. Um, and my best friend, he is from New Jersey, so they got good tomatoes. But I was actually driving there the other day, and uh, the exits are still kind of boggling my mind, but definitely better than driving in Philly. I hate driving in Philly. So New Zealand, Andrew, with where you're at, sounds much better. Because not only are you in the future, you have nice scenery, everyone's nice. In Philadelphia, the big thing is uh, we're terrible and we don't care and blah 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 blah. You know. And the other thing is, I'm going to a Phillies game, ironically, this weekend, and so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be hearing that, like, oh, Phillies, we're the best, and it's like, no, you're just gonna choke. Fluffy Bunny 242. I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting sexy. I've been boxing for 1.5 years now. I got arms now. I'm down like 50 pounds too. Dude, nice. Hmm. Fluffy Bunny 242. Andrew, I'm in MI now. Michigan. They are ruthless out here during Pride Month. Coming to get you. No, I'm kidding. Nah, Pride Month, I think, is cool. Like the way I'm able to celebrate Pride Month is come across movies that I've had on my watch list for a long time, but it's like gives me a reason to watch them now. It's similar to October. Like October, I look at it as, oh, that's horror movie month. Watch movies that I normally um, want to watch, but I need to be in the mood slash season for. Usually, I used to work at a cinema, and the only thing y'all Americans would ask for is more butter in your popcorn. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. And Fluffy Bunny 242 can attest to that. That was actually me up to 12 years ago. 12 years ago, that would be me. I used to love popcorn, but then I found out I am allergic to corn, so I haven't had popcorn in 12 years. But yeah, that was me. And now it's funny. Now I am dairy free, so now I have something called water lily pops. You probably never heard of it because why would anyone hear of water lily pops? But it's basically something that's made from, you guessed it, water lilies, but it's made to emulate popcorn. And I like it. It's really good. But it's very hard to find. They only have it at Wegmans, and not even just like every Wegmans. It's like there's one specific Wegmans I have to drive like 40 minutes to get. Andrew, we don't even do that. Yeah, man. America is known for how do I put it? The land of opportunity, yes, but also the land of excess. Excess is looked at as really good. Excess money, excess food, excess cars, excess debt, everything in excess. It's to the point of where a film like Wolf of Wall Street or Goodfellas gets looked at the wrong way, and it gets looked at as it's glamorizing those facets of life. But the reality is that Scorsese is critiquing those assets. But you know, it's interesting. It's interesting to hear that though. And then America, it's also like American cinema is like embracing violence, but then in terms of mainstream movies, they're like scared of like sex and nudity. Blows my mind. I'm curious how New Zealand is like that, with that, because I know I read up on other countries, and I know like South Korea seems to be a lot more open minded towards like sex and nudity. But then something like India, it's like India's like you can't you can't do like any swearing, you can't do any sex or nudity. And if you try, it's just gonna be pixelated, so then it just looks weird. So I am curious. Yeah, I want to hear more about New Zealand. Luffy Bunny 242. We gotta hang out again soon. I'm just farming up money right now. Dude, I totally get it. I'm thinking about the trip this summer, still doing it. It would probably be like August 18th to 20th. That's the tentative. I haven't sent out the follow up text to everyone, but I'm thinking about doing that. But I get that in terms of like farming up money because, you know, Coffee Bunny 242 kind of broke right now. Dude, I get it. Believe me, I get it. I mean, it's not the best economy that we're in right now. And then on top of that, you know what my situation was. So it's like I totally get that. Andrew Lay, I'm originally from Vietnam, so we're cursed with Hollywood war movies. Ah, dude. I Andrew, I'm curious. Have you seen the TV show The Sympathizer? Directed by Park Chan Wook. Well, created by Park Chan Wook, and he directed a couple episodes. I'm curious to hear your take on that show because it focuses on Vietnam, but it's from the Vietnamese perspective, which I personally found interesting. But I just haven't reviewed it yet on my channel because my thoughts can be summed up in pretty much 30 seconds. I like the first three episodes directed by Park Chan Wook. I thought it was excellent. And then the remaining four episodes that aren't directed by Park Chan Wook, you can tell something's missing. But I do like overall how it is focusing on the other side and how the other side it's something that recontextualizes a lot of things that I didn't know. So I felt like I went from being ignorant to the other side to now I have more understanding and more empathy. And not that I didn't before. Like there were films that I would watch, like something like Apocalypse Now, where it's like I did have empathy, but it's like that didn't show the other side. You know what I'm saying? Andrew I've heard of the show. RUJ looks unsettling under that makeup, dude. Yeah, he plays. He plays. I think it's like six or seven characters, and that's kind of the point that he you see him in all these different roles or all these different characters, but he plays them all differently, and it really does show his range as an actor. I would highly recommend you check it out. I'd probably give the show like a 3.5 out of 5. It's solid, but I do think that it's a necessity to view at least once. But like I said, if I were to rewatch it, it would only be the first 3 episodes, especially because I wasn't a huge fan of the finale. I was like, oh, that's it. Okay, whatever. But it's still good. I'm curious though, Andrew, to know what your favorite movie about the Vietnam War is. And I'm not gonna lie, I in terms of Vietnam, I truthfully haven't seen that many Vietnamese films, unfortunately. I've been trying to here and there watch like certain movies from like different countries, but there's some countries I haven't gotten around to yet, unfortunately. One of my friends is from Uganda, and I just realized I'm like, I don't think I've seen an Uganda film. But in terms of international cinema, South Korean filmmaking is probably my favorite. They just really go for it, which is insane. That is cool though, Andrew. Going back to what you were saying about 10 minutes ago, that is cool that you worked at a cinema. I always wanted to work for one. I actually applied for one several times years ago, but never did. And honestly, though, looking back, I'm kind of glad partially that I didn't because I feel like it might have ruined the allure of the experience, like having to clean up from other people, um, having to watch the same movie possibly several times in a week. And it's like if you weren't a fan of the movie the first time, and it's like just being a dead horse to have to watch it again and again, depending on which part of working at cinema you took part in. In Chile, I haven't seen much. Vietnam War movies are usually banned in the country because it shows a lot of U.S. and South Vietnamese perspectives. Oh wow, I didn't know that they were usually banned. That's unfortunate, huh? See, that's the shame of it. Like in terms of that, because I feel like getting different perspectives on a subject matter, I think it's very like fascinating, and it can really add more depth to the knowledge that one might have. Because, like I said, I feel like growing up, the Vietnam War, I didn't really know too much about it other than America lost, which is I feel like what most people knew. But then as I got older, I realized how much nuance there was to it, and how it's one of those situations where we went into a war where it was like there wasn't going to be any winning, and it was like more different than like World War II, where it's like America went into it very late into the game, and it was only really because of Pearl Harbor. So it's interesting. Like growing up, I mean, heck, I didn't realize until 5 years ago that um 9/11 that it's like we went into another country, and then it turned out there wasn't any weapons of mass destruction. I didn't know that. I didn't realize it until 5 years ago. I was like, holy cow! Like it was just my mind was blown. So safe to say, it, you know, censorship's not good in my opinion. But I'm not gonna lie. Um, America sometimes will use that as a way to then weaponize certain things where it's like, oh, I can say whatever I want. It's like, I mean, you can say whatever you want, but there will be consequences. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's kind of the difference here. At least that's what I look at it as. Andrew, I saw Apocalypse Now recently. I thought it's very good, but nothing like the real war. Yeah, the action itself in Apocalypse Now, it's very subdued. Like it's more so, I would say, a philosophical art house film. It just so happens to be taking place in Vietnam. That's how I always look at it. I think, though, I will say, in terms of accuracy, I will say it seems like what war does to someone, it seems like that it does a really good job with, like with Kurtz, seeing him go from pretty much the army's like number one boy, so to speak, to then just his ultimate downfall of like he is in the woods, he's killing people. You disagree with him, he's gonna kill you, like just the insanity of it all. But I mean, when there is action, like I said, when there is action, I do think it is very interesting. But it's just done in a very artsy way, which I always was surprised by, because I remember the first time I saw Apocalypse Now, I didn't know that it was going to be like pretty much an art house film. I thought there was going to be a lot of like guns and explosions and everything, and there wasn't. And I'm kind of glad about that. It's up there as one of my favorite war films. Like if you were to ask me right now, my favorite war film is The Thin Red Line. I think that's an incredible film. But as you see, if you've seen The Thin Red Line, Apocalypse Now, they're both like philosophical war films. That's like my kind of war films. Because actually, Fluffy Bunny 242 and I, we talk about this sometimes, where it's like we grew up watching war films for the explosions, for the action, and it's like we both kind of got tired of it. And now when we watch both, we're more interested in like the films that actually give like perspective. Usually it's because of Apocalypse Now that got me to finally appreciate Ad Astra. It took me 5 years and countless rewatching it, not getting anything Brad Pitt was doing. Oh yeah, Ad Astra is pretty much Apocalypse Now in outer space. I liked that film. I did. But I get what you're saying, because I feel like you just watch Ad Astra without kind of knowing about Apocalypse Now. It's kind of like, yeah, what? Why is it? Why is there this narration? Why is this isolated feeling and everything? But if you've seen Apocalypse Now, you get what the director for Ad Astra was going for. I need to rewatch Ad Astra. I only saw it once in theaters, but I remember really liking it. I think I saw it in IMAX, or was it Dolby? It was one of those. If you want another philosophical Brad Pitt film, I would highly recommend The Tree of Life, specifically the extended cut, which is on the Criterion Blu-ray. The actual cut is good, yes, but the extended cut adds so much more layers to it. Angela, oh, sorry for leaving you confused last time. I thought Dark Knight Trilogy was hilarious because of the tone, maybe. Lots of moments I laughed out, even though I know it wasn't intended to be funny. Oh yeah, we were going to talk about this, but I remember we talked about it, like right before I was getting off of the live stream. Yeah, would you mind expanding on that? I'm actually very curious to know which scenes you were laughing out loud, but that you knew they weren't intended to be funny. I'm very curious because I I recently rewatched The Dark Knight at my one friend's home theater, and it hit me the same way that it did all the other times. It was like, wow, this is a great film. So I'm very curious to hear I hear that for sure. Andrew Lang, like the kissing between Batman and Catwoman. The Batman was so romantic, but I just burst out laughing in The Dark Knight Rises. Oh, are you talking about when Batman and Catwoman like kissed? At, I think it was at the very end of The Dark Knight Rises when they kissed when she was like, I guess we're both suckers, and then they kiss. Because that scene, it wasn't necessarily I thought it was funny, but it did seem like kind of light in tone because she knew what he was about to do and that the odds of him coming back were probably slim. Or that she knew what was going to happen and that she had to put on a face for the others. So that way the jig isn't up, so to speak. The Batman's really good, though. I liked that one. Although I wish the Batman in the last 5 minutes, I wish that they were taken out personally. They were just set up for a sequel. I don't know who's going to be the villain in the sequel. So from what I understand, it's going to be Clayface, which I don't know how that's going to work. To be honest, like the Riddler, given the tone that Matt Reeves is going for, the Riddler makes sense. Like that can work. But Clayface, even though I was interested in him as a character in Batman the Animated Series, I just don't know how you're going to do that because you're going to have to utilize a lot of CGI, and I feel like it could look quite obvious. It just could, you know. I mean, and think about it. How many times have we seen villains or heroes that are all CGI, and it's like, how many times does it actually work out? It's hit or miss. I feel like so. I don't know. I'm hoping it's good, but fingers crossed. Usually, I trust Matt Reeves with CGI, Dawn, and War. Man, perfection. I liked Dawn and War. Um, Although those are both films that War of the Planet of the Apes I saw one time, and then Dawn of the Planet of the Apes I've seen twice. And the second time it was only because my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, she hadn't seen any of that trilogy. Well, shouldn't say trilogy. She hadn't seen Rise or Dawn, and War of the Planet of the Apes was just about to come out back in 2017. So I was like, okay, I'll show you those two. So I showed her those two, but I haven't seen them since. That was like 7 years ago. So I respect them in terms of the craftsmanship, but I feel like a clay monster. Like I'm very curious. I'll keep an open mind, but I'm very curious how the CGI on that's going to look. I don't know, man. Like it could easily come off silly, and I feel like with the tone that he's going for, he's not going for silly. He's going for serious. So I don't know. I'm fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But you are right. He does have a good track record with CGI. So I credit where credit's due. Usually, I just love sci-fi. I guess that's why the Martian is in my letterbox top four. I tend to save space for different genres up there. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, let me actually look on your letterbox because I know I'm following you, but I forgot. Yep, yeah, I see you. Yeah, Last Samurai, Martian, Zodiac, Phantom Thread, all great choices. I noticed that you don't really have ratings for any of them. It looks like, but you've seen a lot of good films. That's cool that you have like a bunch of lists. Oh, okay. I'm looking right now at your top 10, well, top 15 from 2021, and I'm glad to see you have Wrath of Man up there because I actually that made my top 10 for 2021. I had a blast watching that film. I saw it twice in theaters. I'm also happy to see Nightmare Alley. I loved Nightmare Alley. Took me a couple watches though to fully appreciate it. And then 2023. Oh, 2023. I like yours. Actually, your top 10 looks very similar to mine. Um, Anatomy of a Fall, Oppenheimer, The Killer, Holdovers, Asteroid City. They all made my top 10 for 2023. And then All of Us Strangers in May, December. Those were honorable mentions. But I will say this, All of Us Strangers, I would probably put my top 10 for 2023 now. It's the only thing that stinks about doing a ranking list is that sometimes things can change, even in the span of a couple months. Yeah, no, I'm glad that you have Letterboxd. It's a great app. It is easily my favorite what's it called, social media app. None of the other ones come close at all. Major Way, my rule for Letterboxd is if I don't like a film, I'm not logging in. I've probably seen hundreds, but only log less than 200. Oh wow, so there's a lot that you don't like then. That's fair. I mean, honestly, I always make sure to rate the film. But I always try to say in my review that like if I'm not a fan of the film, I always try to say like, hey, just it didn't work for me, but might work for other people. Or if it's one of those films where it's like it's really popular or it's considered a classic, I'll say like, I understand why people like this. Just for me, didn't really do much for me. Something along those lines. Then I also add hearts to my rating system as well. Like there'll be sometimes where I'll rate a film like a 3.5 out of 5 or a 3 out of 5, but I don't give it a heart. But then there's sometimes where I'll see a movie that's a 2.5 out of 5, but I'll give it a heart. And that's usually just means that, hey, yeah, I could see myself rewatching this as opposed to a 3 out of 5 with no heart. It's like I'm probably not gonna want to watch this again. But that's how I base it in terms of logging. Like same, like lots of them I respect, but didn't work for me. Plus, got to be after 2012 too. Yeah, I meant to ask why after 2012 and not like before 2012? I only ask because for me, like I have films on there from the 1900s all the way to now. I'm just curious because there's a lot of great films like pre 2012, like a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Some people back in the group chat. 101 Eastern time. That's how you know people are in the group chat. We are in the group chat. Yes, we are in the group chat. We got a lot of people in the group chat. We gotta add some music. We gotta add some. What about this one? Ah, daydreaming. Grooving out, man. That's wild. Just wild. I love this. Yeah, guys, ask away. Got some more people in the group chat. Ask away. Be curious to hear everyone's thoughts. Andrew Lay. It's just I made 2012 like a personally highlight for the first time I went to see a movie in the theaters by myself. It was for the Avengers. Oh, nice, man. Honestly, that's fair. I mean, especially with the Avengers, like getting to see that for the first time and by yourself, it's a pretty big accomplishment. Come to think about it, I think 2012 was the first time I saw a movie by myself in theaters as well. So I get that. Or no, was it 2012 or was it 2013? No, it was 2012. It was 2012 because another superhero film, The Dark Knight Rises, I saw by myself. I think it was like my third time when I saw it. So I get that. Honestly, I don't know about New Zealand, but in America, there's this weird thing where it's like going to the movies by yourself is looked down upon. And to be honest with you, I s- I don't understand why. Like for myself, yeah, there's times where I'll go with my wife, or there's times where I'll go with my friends, or combine the two. But going to the movies by yourself is actually really nice because you don't have to worry about, oh, are my friends on time? Um, do we have enough seats? Did they get their seats? There's like a lot less to worry about because it's just yourself. And honestly, sometimes it can, an empty theater or a theater that's near empty, it can make the film even more immersive because of that. So, again, I'm not sure about what it's like in New Zealand in regards to going to the movies by yourself, but I personally think it's really cool. And since 2012, I've had that belief. Never understood. Like I try to have an open mind, but I never understood people saying that wasn't acceptable or whatever. And Julie, going to the movies alone is so common here, man. No one cares. The demographics came to Barbie were pretty crazy. See, now that's what I like to hear. Like, I guess it really is just an American thing, and it's an American thing that just drives me crazy. Where it's like, there's nothing wrong with going to the movies by yourself. Very soothing, honestly. Like, what was it? I saw Bad Boys Ride or Die. I saw it by myself, and I was fine with that. Like, it was one of those situations where it was like, got to see an Dolby theater. Thought the movie itself was just all right, but it was just something cool to do. Enjoy everyone from Hello Kitty girls to Butch men covered in tattoos. LOL. I love that, man. Yeah, I mean, I Barbie, that was one. Barbie I saw by myself. I had pink shirt on. I had pink lemonade Barbie flavored swoon drink. Um yeah, I decked out for that. I was like, it's Greta Gerwig. I'm excited to see what this is gonna be. And I enjoyed it. I liked it a little bit less the second time, like watching it on Blu-ray from my local library, but still enjoyable film. Oppenheimer though. Love that film. I don't think we'll ever get a 1-2 punch like those two films again. Usually, in terms of Letterboxd top four, Phantom Thread kind of broke the rules. I'm not into romances, but PTA crushed it. Yeah, romance is that's a genre that can be definitely hit or miss. But Phantom Thread is definitely one of those romances where it's like really good, like definitely a standout of the genre. I would also recommend if you liked Phantom Thread, I would also recommend like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Lost in Translation, Her, films like that. I will even throw in the Before trilogy. Um, but yeah, PTA is a great director. I actually rewatched Boogie Nights several nights ago, and it still holds up. Still one of my favorite films. Truly a great film. Interestingly, I'm midway through the Before trilogy right now, and it's great. Turns out I never had a real conversation in my life. Oh man, that's too funny. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've had like similar conversations. Like in the first, I would say the first and second film. Third one, I'm newly married. I've been married for 2 years, so I haven't reached that point yet of the third one. Um, but yeah, the conversations are so organic. They feel so authentic. I don't know. It's just really interesting to hear the way they talk and just their insight. And then at the same time, how it's like with each entry, the previous entry, you then realize like their outlook on life has changed so much um, because they've gotten older and because they now have a more nihilistic view on certain things, which I thought was interesting. With age also comes wisdom. But yeah, Before Trilogy is great. I own that on Criterion Blu-ray. Hmm, let me see. Millibytes. What? Ooh, let's see. Sorry, I'm testing something out. Andrew. So it looks like you can add video clips to your video on StreamYard. That's something you couldn't really do with YouTube live stream. So that's really cool. I knew that you could do a countdown from 30 seconds, but I did not know you could add a video clip as long as it's under 200 millibytes. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that's going to look. Angela, who's winning next year's Oscars, you reckon? Um, oh man, that's tough. I'll answer in two questions. The first one is, what do I want to win as of right now? If it was up to me, I would say Challengers would win. Um, but I do think that some people just aren't ready for that film, in regards to how it depicts sexuality, like in terms of America. But right now, if they were to announce it, I wouldn't be surprised if Dune Part Two wins. But I think 6 months, 6 to 8, 9. I mean, 6 to 8 months from now, I don't think Dune Part Two will win. But I don't know what will win. That's the only thing. Because I feel like the writer's strike really put a lot of movies back on the back burner. So it's like there's still some movies that are going to be coming out later on this year, but I just don't know. I just don't know how well those other movies are going to do. Oh, we have a new person in the chat. Mario Smash 2000. What are your thoughts on the bike riders and kinds of kindness coming this Friday? Excellent questions. So the bike riders I actually saw on Monday. I saw it Monday as a part of the AMC Screen Unseen, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine for sure. Kinds of Kindness, I am excited about that is coming out this Friday, but unfortunately, near me, it's not coming out this Friday because it's only going to be a limited release. But next week, next Friday is when it's supposed to come out. But as of right now, I'm going to be seeing that next Wednesday, early screening. So I'm excited about that. And it's going to be in Dolby. So Kinds of Kindness in Dolby. I'm excited for that. What are your thoughts there? Are you excited for both? Also, wow, that is crazy. Sorry, I was just testing something out, guys. So I can play videos on StreamYard. The only thing is it takes up the entire screen. It's good to know. Andrew Lay, epic. Yeah, that what you saw that was Fluffy Bunny and I. We made a short film, one of my first ones. What was that? 13 years ago, and it's truthfully not good, but I have it on my YouTube channel, so that way people can look at my movies and how they've increased in quality over the years. But yeah, the movie's called Spoof, and I when I was looking at the video clips that you could do, I went on what's it called, files, to see like, oh, what the size limit was and everything, and it literally says that Spoof, the short movie, like I could literally play it. But I just don't know if I can go around it. Let me see.
Yo, man, what do you want to do?
I don't know, maybe play a card game or something.
Maybe Jacks?
Jax? Jax is a kid's game. We gotta play poker, man.
What are you doing? Get him, y'all! Hey, Ernie! You want to see some Philly shooting?
Yeah, sure. Did you hit anything?
Nah, man, the wind got to it.
What wind?
Hey, what are you guys doing? So, why are you guys shooting each other?
He was trying to kill us.
Is this true?
No, all I wanted was a tablespoon of sugar to bake a cake. Oh, by the way, my name is Mashed Potatoes.
Alright, so do you want to come on inside and talk it over?
Sure, I've got time.
So let's get to know each other. My name is Dwayne Hooper. This is my good friend Ernie Pickett. And this is my good neighbor.
Vincent Lamont.
Oh yes. How could I forget about
No, I've been your neighbor for 8 years now.
it? Really? I'm sorry we haven't talked.
Fine. What matters now is that we're talking.
I like talking.
Yeah, we know.
You guys want something to eat?
I don't know. Do you guys have any graham crackers or something?
Yes, we do. What about you, Mash? What do you want to eat?
I was hoping for some mashed potatoes.
Nah, I don't feel like making anything. How about some graham crackers? With ketchup.
Ketchup. Get this going, man.
Are you friends with them, Ernie? Oh!
Get used to it.
So, Mash, what do you do for a living?
Yeah, that was easily that scene of me eating graham crackers with ketchup, easily the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten in my entire life. And Julie, oh man, you put Q2 to shame. Nominate this for the Palm d'Or. I hadn't seen any spoof movies, so I thought that I was like really original with that. But I didn't realize that during that time period there was a lot of spoof movies that came out. So I was like, oh, let me make fun of this. Let me make fun of this. But I was still learning how to make movies. But yeah, there's other ones that I can show where it's like, let me see. Let me see if I can go. That's the nice thing. I'm looking at files, and there's certain ones I can actually show. Let me see. See, I wish. Let me try to figure it out. But I wish that there was a way that I could show it where it's like, hey, this is what you guys are watching, and then be like reacting to it. I wish I could try to figure that out. Let's see. One second. Forgot about these. Oh gosh, some of these videos, man. Oh, let me show you guys. I'm gonna show you guys my masterpiece. Just kidding, it's not my masterpiece. It's actually probably the worst thing I've ever made in my life. Let me first go to comments though. Mario Smith 2000. Also, do you hear that Jordan Peele announced his next movie coming on 10/23/26? Because before it's going to come out this December. But due to the writers and actors strike, the movie got delayed. Yes, I did hear about that, which I was disappointed by because I actually put his movie in my most anticipated films of 2024 list. But I'm just glad we're getting another Jordan Peele film, to be honest. Wasn't a huge fan of Nope. It was a Nope for me. But I'm always curious to see what he's gonna bring to the table. Are you excited for his next movie? Yeah, let me see this. Look at this. All right. So, and Andrew Mario, let me just preface what you're about to watch is easily the worst movie I've ever made. but it's hilarious.
Hello?
Is this Craig Callahan speaking?
Who is this?
This thing is Lefty.
Oh no. I can see that, Lefty.
Should we go after him?
Of course we should. Yeah, check out, man. Got some people trying to kill me. Try to come to my house. Be here in 5 minutes. All right, bye. Nah, man, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Oh, I just thought you guys would find that funny. It's just it's too funny because we were shooting on, I think it was HD cameras, but for some reason it wouldn't upload in HD. It would upload, and I think it was like 480p. But then when you put it up on the computer and it goes to 480p, it then loses even more information. So then it looks even worse. I'm like, holy cow! All right, let me go to the comments. Andrew Lay wasn't supposed to be Nosferatu this Christmas. It still is actually. It was originally, and I said it in my top 10 anticipated of 2024 list. It was originally supposed to be two horror films facing off against each other for Christmas time, which I would have honestly been really excited to see. I think that would have been definitely unique for sure. Andrew Lay, oh no, sorry, Nosferatu is Robert Eggers, B.A. Jordan Peele is another unnamed project later this year too, right? No, that's what Mario was talking about. It was originally supposed to come out. Jordan Peele's next movie was originally supposed to come out Christmas, but because of the writer strikes and whatnot, it got pushed back to the following year. So I think it's still untitled, but that's the story with that, which is frustrating. I just think it would have been cool to see two, directors that are young, for movie directors at least, going against each other, bringing people to the movie theaters. Because I think they both would have brought audiences in. The horror genre is something that many people are already interested in. Andrew Lay, I'd love to be a filmmaker. I already have an idea for my debut feature, chronodrama, and another for my magnus opus sci-fi epic. Generic, I know. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's generic at all. Um, to be honest with you, I get why you would want that because I mean the sci-fi genre, it's something that speaks to you, which speaks to me too. But you know, that's something you really really like, so I get why you would want to make that. Um, I don't think I always tell my friends if I get $1 or $2 million, there is a project that I would love to do, but the project I want to do, I haven't touched it in years because I'm like, I don't have $1 or $2 million to do this. So I just do the projects that I know I can do within the budget that I have, like the constraints. Um, but honestly, the 2020 and onwards, those movies I am like proud of. Little Pin Drive, Erection, Mortality. Mortality actually made it to a bunch of film festivals, which was amazing. Little Pin Drive went to one and won one, which was awesome. But I'm very proud of it. But it's a collaborative effort. You know, at the end of the day, if you have people surrounding you that are really good, it helps out a lot. Like even the short film that I'm filming now, I really like the people that I'm working with. Some of them are new in terms of like working with me, and then some of them have been working with me for years. So it's like they know my style, they know what to expect of me. They know that even if I say a take was good, I always want to have a backup in case I get in the editing room and I'm like, after a couple days looking, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go with this other take instead. But the short films that I was showing you guys, those are the ones where I'm like not proud of because those are the ones that I was like when I made those, I was like super into like Transformers and like action explosions. And now I'm more into like visual storytelling. Dialogue isn't something that really interests me, which is why this next short film that I'm making is kind of pushing myself because the dialogue I actually wrote out and everything. So it's like as opposed to the other short films I've made, it's all been me writing it out and everything in terms of the visuals, like what I want. Mario Smash 2000. What are your thoughts on Mike Flanagan directing the next Exorcist? Because since David Gordon Green tried and it got bad reviews. Um, if I had it my way, I would say let the franchise die. Nobody's gonna be able to top the original Exorcist. Um, that said, I mean, I'll be curious to see what Mike Flanagan will bring to the table. I think he's a solid director. He makes films that I'm always like, yeah, that was solid. I enjoyed that. Like Doctor Sleep, it's not better than The Shining, but it was still quite enjoyable. Yeah, David Gordon Green's Exorcist Believer was not good. I wanted to like it, but alas, I didn't. Andrew Lay, lots of beginner filmmakers go for horror instead of crime. I noticed. Are you interested? Yeah, I mean, horror is that's what my short film Mortality was. Um, and I would say to an extent, my Western art house film Erection, I would say also has like horror vibes, and even Will Open Drive. I think the reason why I don't really go for crime as much per se is that I feel like there's even more expenses with it as opposed to horror. You can have a low budget and it can still work with the project that you're going for. Crime dramas, I feel like there's a level of authenticity that goes into it. Like if you're focusing on the Irish mob, you need to make sure 100% that you have all the right dialects with what you're trying to go for. So I feel like there's just a lot more that if you have a bigger budget, makes it more manageable. But if you don't have the big budget, I think that's why people more so go towards horror. At least speaking from experience. Like full circle moment, that movie I told you about that I would do for 1 or 2 million. It is a crime film in some ways, but I'm not going to make it for the budget I have, which is like a couple thousand usually. Just looking at some of the videos, I was like, oh yeah. That's different. Sorry, guys, just checking something real quick. Just noticing something. Andrew Lang, what horror do you like? I think my big interest is art house horror. Something like Suspiria, The Lighthouse. I love it when a horror film creates an atmosphere that is palpable. And something like The Seventh Seal also is something that intrigues me. Like I love black and white cinematography. I grew up watching black and white films, so it's one of those things where, I made 2 black and white short films, so it's like it was kind of something I knew. I don't know, like that. It's just something that always intrigued me. But that's also one of the reasons why I try to branch out. That's why I made like a heist film. That's why now I'm making a film about, in some ways, like regret. Just trying to branch out a little bit more. But I'm not gonna lie. While making this short film that I'm working on right now, I already came up with another idea where I do want to try to make a short film that not only is black and white and is 100% visual storytelling, which I've done before. I wanted to also be emulating a silent film, so like adding film grain, shooting at 4:3, lowering the frame rate. So story wise, I kind of have an idea, but it's pre-production. There's another one, another short film that I made. This one, it looks like it was beginning of 2012. This one I want to give you guys a sneak peek of. Keep in mind, all these short films, like these ones that I'm saying aren't good. You can, if you go on my playlist, you guys can check out these, and then you guys can check out my later ones. Like I said, Wilpin Drive onwards, I'm proud of everything that I've made. Although I'm not gonna lie, my short film Durham Place, that was just me wanting to make a heist film and exercise in style. I shouldn't say exercise in style. I should say exercise in the genre. Oh yeah, but all right. Let me show you guys a sneak peek 1 second of. So keep in mind, this came out in 2012. This was using the same like camcorders that was with the other 2 that I showed you guys. So prepare for blurriness. The rules airsoft. Rule number 1: if you get hit once, you're out. Rule number 2: no headshots. Rule number 3: always have fun. It's the day before a big match, where I go over to my friend's house and we play a little airsoft. So now you'll see it.
Too hot. When you come back, he gave me a sprint.
Him wearing a hoodie. This is ridiculous with the extended clip out the back. Hey guys, what's up?
I'm not carrying anything.
It's like asking Pee Wee Herman and MJ pick teams in basketball.
That's quite humorous.
Jonathan's a captain, sister.
All right,
So-
pick. Who's the other captain? Who's the other captain?
Me. Can I do
I am finally ready. Just so you know.
that?
Okay, so now paper scissors. First one. Rock paper scissors shoot. Rock paper scissors shoot. All right, I picked. Okay.
John Becker.
I picked Caleb. I picked Mr. Dawson. I don't want to be against the sniper.
It's only 17 shots.
That's
Press.
We don't have to have it. We all go after you. Stay behind. You try to shoot us and then got a ball.
Then you come in and
clean up.
no, because that's 17 times that I have to dodge, which means there's like a 17 times the chance that I can hit.
I went through 200 last round.
Okay, you're shooting full auto. How many would you have shot on 7? Like 12. Take my position right here and past these trees.
So yeah, that gives you guys a little bit of taste of airsoft. Yeah, that was definitely a good example of when I made that 12 years ago. It was a good example of a movie where the concept exceeded what budget wise I was able to do. Like I originally wanted it to be where there was going to be scenes like where the camcorder was going to be attached to the gun, so that way you'd get like point of view shots. But like we couldn't do it because we didn't have like any of that equipment. So then we had to pretty much improv, which you guys could probably tell. So yeah, I think that was my last project for my filmmaking class when I was like a sophomore. So, and then I didn't make anything until 2019. So I took like a 7-year hiatus. And over that 7 years, I gained a lot of film knowledge. Watched a lot more movies. That's the big thing I always tell people in terms of like, what makes how do you get to be, someone that can direct? In my eyes, I think that the greatest thing to contribute would be watching movies. When you watch movies and you analyze them, you learn so much. Certain camera movement choices, certain camera angle choices, what the lighting symbolizes, the outfits that people wear, the way that people are talking, or the lack of talking. All that really adds up. And so you start paying attention to that stuff in films. You start, saying, hey, maybe I'll implement some of that stuff into my films. So it's my 2 cents, though. Andrew Lane, I'm catching up with your Wrestling Themos, getting ready for Kinds of Kindness, and I think I love Killing the Sacred Deer the most. Don't know if it can be classified as horror, though. Oh, no, it's definitely horror. 100%. No question about it. I'm glad that you like that the most out of his work. I am planning to rank your Wrestling Themos' work after Kinds of Kindness. I'm excited for that. All right. Probably wrapping up in a couple minutes. If anyone has any, more things they want to add. And Julie, I mean, I watched movies is better than film school. So said a bunch of directors. Yeah, I mean, if you have in high school when it's free, if you have the right people guiding you, it can open up a lot of doors. One of the reasons why I have on my channel, I know it's not the best quality, but one of the reasons why I have not only those videos when I first was making short films, but also my announcement reviews is because that way people can see like, hey, this is the person that's across from me that I'm debating. He's one of the people that kind of helped me learn even more about films and filmmaking, like how to make them. again, it all depends on who you have in your life. I think personally, I think high school. I know a lot of people just take film classes to just watch movies, but it's like if you actually want to learn about movies and how they're made and everything, and you have a good teacher in high school, it can go very far. Um, in my personal opinion. Mario Smash 2000. Did you hear that Ryan Coogler and Paul Thomas Anderson movies coming out next year? I think I did, which I'm excited for both of their next films. I'm a fan of both of them, especially Paul Thomas Anderson, who's easily one of my favorite directors. Ryan Coogler, I like. I don't think I've seen a film of his that I haven't liked yet. Interesting. Yeah, I can't wait for that PTO one, Mario. Leo's in it too, I think. Yes. Apparently, it's a really expensive studio film, which I'm going to say this right now. I think that is a huge, huge, huge gamble. Um, like I think it's $100 million budget film. PTA, I love him. PTA is not exactly a director that's known for making financially hugely successful films. Like his films usually, if it's a $15 million budget, his movies usually make like 20, 25 million. So he makes the money back, but that's because the movies are, not as big a budget as like big studio movies. So I'm curious what exactly it was that PTA said to say to the studio, yeah, $100 million, we're going to make this back. I'm very curious. All right, guys, I'm going to be getting going. I wanted to say though, everyone that you know, put in their 2 cents in the group chat. I really appreciate it. This upcoming weekend, I don't think I'll be doing a live stream, which is why I was doing it tonight. But I will try to do one the following week, which will probably be during the weekend. Stay tuned for some of my upcoming videos, though. Like I said, in a couple of days, my top 10, Blu-rays that I've top 10 movies I want to see on Blu-ray. That video will be dropping, and then you'll, have a couple other videos coming out pretty soon. But yeah, guys, I am again happy that you guys were a part of this, and I will catch you guys later. Hope you guys have a good night.